May 4, 2025. Two coaches, one tiny gesture, and suddenly, the entire Valorant community was buzzing. This should have just been a simple show of sportsmanship, but for some reason, Frost decided to turn it into a spectacle, and a spectacle it became. What was supposed to be a beef between him and Termi is now basically a Netflix series for the Valorant community. It was the talk of the town, and the biggest bombshell flying around is that this animosity is all tied to the scrim-leaking allegations. But is this drama really about that? Or is it something much simpler? Welcome to snstry. I asked you guys what you wanted, and now here we are. We're diving back into the spicy beef between Termi and Frost. It feels like nobody has really laid out the full picture yet, so here's my attempt at it. We're breaking through the surface to trace where it all began and why this fallout shook the entire Valorant scene. So, we already know about the fist bump drama. Sure, that's what sparked everything, but here's the real question. Have you ever stopped to wonder why Frost reacted like that in the first place? I guess let's listen to what he has to say.
There's real smoke between us. Obviously, it doesn't extend to the players. It has nothing to do with anybody else. This is just a me and him thing that probably will never be resolved, and that's okay. And
Basically, he's saying there's actual beef between him and Termi, but it got me thinking, why do we even have beef in the first place? Still clutching with crusty mouse pads?
Brother,
Polish just dropped anime-themed pads, smooth glide, stitched edges, and yeah, free shipping. Links down below. Everyone was pointing at this 2024 clip of Termi as the reason Frost got upset.
예, 죄송합니다.
프로스트 감독이 사실 지금 뭐 많은 문제들이 있잖아요. 그래서 저랑 피스펌프 할 때도 뭐 되게 조금 스포츠맨십이 없는 행동을 좀 보여준 것 같아서 매너도 없고 스포츠맨십도 없고 사실 버르장머리도 없는 것 같아서 그래서 한 방 매기려고 했습니다.
The translation wasn't perfect, but what Termi is basically saying is that he felt disrespected by Frost's lack of a sportsmanship. If you aren't familiar with the situation, this interview was after their Abyss match where DRX had basically already won, but Termi still called a timeout just to add salt to the wound. I also found a clip where Termi basically said he has no idea where the beef with Frost even started. He didn't even know who Frost was at first, but it started last year when Frost reluctantly fist bumped him not once but twice. Up until then, Termi thought there was nothing between them, so he said it feels like a one-sided beef. Termi's acting like he has no clue how this beef even started, but is he really being honest here? If you think that earlier clip was the start of this beef, you're in for a ride because Frost's side of the story is very different.
You want to know the first time I met Termi in Asia, what happened?
what happened?
I put my hand out and he walked right past me. Looked at me, by the way. There's a guy from so basically we were getting filmed by Riot. They hired this company called Core.
Yeah.
I won't mention the name, but there's a guy that was right there and we both looked at each other and he's like, oh, it's like that over here? I was like, yep. So what's interesting is he says I have no manners, but the first time I met him, I stuck my hand out and he basically looked at me like I'm a fucking idiot and just walked right past me.
Now, this is coming from Frost firsthand. Whether he's telling the truth or just spinning a story, there's no way for us to actually know. What we do know is that he isn't claiming this out of nowhere. He says someone from Core A Studio actually witnessed it. But here's the catch. He can't drop who it is because that guy would get cooked if his name ever got out, so. And honestly, I don't see why Frost would risk making this story up. He's in Korea. It's basically Termi's backyard. And the last thing you'd want is to pick a fight with the Korean Valorant community unless you really felt like you've been wrong. Or, you know, his contract is up.
my contract's up, so I don't know if I'll be here next year. But you should all know it was an honor and a privilege to coach you.
So he might have just said, fuck it. To hell with all of this shit. And he's going ham, you know?
So now I'm just doing what I know is gonna like effectively get under their skin, which is
Yeah, I can
hold
tell.
that shit.
I know what you're doing, bro. You're doing the mind
I'm
game.
gonna do what you
Yeah.
motherfuckers do, which is just talk shit afterwards. All right, cool. I can do it too.
So if
then
you're wondering where this beef really started, this is about as close as we get to an origin story. Is it possible that Termi just doesn't care to know the people in his circle? Absolutely. Is it possible Frost is just making stories up? Definitely. Was this a one-sided beef? Before the incident, it could have been, but Frost made sure that that wasn't the case afterward. All in all, this was a wild drama that came out of nowhere. What I just can't wrap my head around is when Frost said this.
last champs, me and Ken Yang talked about me coming on as a consultant to help them. Glow and Termi basically were like, fuck this guy, he's trash, effectively speaking, right? I have no problem with people knowing that, right?
I won't pretend I was right there and knew exactly what was said, but judging by how Frost said it, I don't think he's actually there to witness how Termi and Glow responded to him being a consultant for Champs 2023 as well. He mentioned that he and Ken Yang were talking, so maybe Ken Yang later spoke with Termi and Glow and then rejected Frost. But to claim that the two said fuck him, he's trash feels like a stretch. To me, that says more about the culture Frost is used to being around and how he interpreted it. I just find it hard to believe that Termi and Glow would actually tell him to his face, fuck him, he's trash. Nor can I imagine Ken Yang relaying it back to Frost in those exact words. The two could have just said, nah, we got this, or thanks but we don't need him. Which in a way, if you think like Frost, it can translate to fuck him, he's trash. But hey, you be the judge. And you might be wondering, what about the first time they met? Well, we can speculate all day. Maybe Termi took it personally. Don't quote me on this, but after scouring the internet, I found that this is the South Korean way of shaking hands. And I'm pretty sure these gestures are very important in Korean culture. So the way Frost tried to do it, there's a universe where Termi could have read that as straight up rude. Especially since they're in South Korea. Termi might have expected Frost to at least have some awareness of those gestures. But here's the thing, how could have Frost known that? He didn't come in with a crash course on Korean etiquette. He came in there to work. Granted, what Frost is saying is true. I'm not sure if ignoring the guy was the right move, but I think a little bit of patience and maybe even teaching him the Korean way would have done wonders for their relationship. But then again, what do we know, right?
Nothing!
All we know is DRX are headed to Champs, while Talon is going home after a heartbreaking loss to RRQ. If they hadn't thrown away so many rounds, the story could have been very different. But right now, it looks like Termi has won the war. For Frost, the timing couldn't be worse. His contract is up, Talon's broke, and the Pacific door might be slamming shut. Whether he finds his way back into the league remains to be seen. This was not the kind of drama that scriptwriters had in their arsenal. It came out of nowhere and turned heads like it was tents suddenly showing up in your front door. And in my opinion, the Valorant scene has been a little too vanilla lately. I just think it needs more spice. And I know most people would just like to watch some great Valorant, but some days, you're watching a team like Furia and wondering, why does this even exist? Sorry Furia, you've got two coaches with two completely different stories, and at the end of the day, we still don't know who's telling the full truth. Did Termi just genuinely not know, or did he want to play dumb? Did Frost have a valid reason, or was he overreacting from the start? It's the kind of mystery that keeps you up at night, because this went from zero to a full-blown public feud, and it's the kind of drama the community feeds on. Drop your takes in the comments, leave a like if you enjoyed, hit that sub button so you don't miss out, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.